Welcome to my YouTube channel, Dreamify Animation. Imagine a future not so far away, where the sky is a pale, milky haze and the wind carries the smell of burnt plastic with every breath. The oceans, once deep, blue and teeming with life, have turned into a thick, shimmering sludge of floating garbage. Mountains are no longer made of stone, but of compressed plastic bottles, broken toys, food wrappers, and every disposable thing humanity ever made and threw away. The ground beneath is suffocated under layers of synthetic waste so deep that not a single blade of grass remains. Forests have vanished, rivers have stopped flowing, and the planet that was once green and vibrant has become the plastic planet. In this suffocating world, life should have ended long ago, but nature, stubborn and determined, found a way to adapt. Over centuries, animals evolved to survive among the poison. Birds now have wings reinforced with plastic fibers scavenged from bottle caps. Foxes have teeth that can tear through synthetic sheeting. Turtles have learned to breathe air through vents clogged with These new creatures, though scarred by the world they inherited, still remember in their instincts what the planet used to be, and among them a whisper began to spread, a whisper of rebellion. In the heart of the eastern plastic wastes, a tall and wiry wolf named Raxon stood on a mound of discarded crates, his yellow eyes gleaming with fierce determination. His fur was streaked with the pale sheen of polymer fibers, a mark of his survival. He looked down at the gathering crowd. Raccoons with makeshift goggles, crows with metal claws, mutant rats with sharp, glowing whiskers. They all had one goal: to take the planet back from the suffocating grip of plastic. "We cannot live like this forever," Raxon growled, his voice echoing through the canyon of trash. "Our children are born into poison. Our air is dust. We either fight or we die." The animals roared in agreement. Raxon had become their leader, their symbol of hope, and his plan was daring to reach the core, the ancient machine buried beneath the city ruins that once recycled waste into clean materials. Legend had it that if the core could be reactivated, it would consume all the plastic on Earth and restore life to the planet. But the path to the core was dangerous. The land was patrolled by the Plasmoids, grotesque, half-living creatures, formed from melted plastic and bone, crawling horrors with sticky, twisting limbs and empty, glassy eyes. They were protectors of the waste, mindless servants of something far darker. And so, the rebellion began its journey. For weeks, they traveled across mountains of garbage, through valleys of broken electronics, and across lakes of thick, rain oil. Along the way, they faced toxic storms where plastic dust cut through the air like shards of glass, and rivers so acidic that even a drop could burn fur and flesh. Yet Raxon led them without fear. He knew exactly where to go, as if an unseen map was burned into his mind. The others trusted him completely, except for one. Among the rebellion was a young magpie named Luma, sharp-eyed and always curious. She noticed things others ignored. She noticed how Raxon never seemed to tire, how his wounds healed too quickly, how sometimes, under the pale light of the sun, parts of his body glistened like molded plastic. She never spoke of it, but she began to suspect something terrible. On the 30th day of their journey, they reached the city ruins. Once, it was a thriving human metropolis, but now its skyscrapers were skeletons wrapped in plastic tarps that fluttered in the toxic breeze. The streets were buried under layers of brittle packaging and melted bags, making every step crunch and snap. And in the center of the ruins stood the Great Dome, a massive half-collapsed structure that housed the core, but the dome was guarded. Dozens of plasmoids shambled aimlessly, their bodies fused with debris, shopping carts for ribs, broken bottles for teeth, their movements jerky and unnatural. The animals hid among the wreckage, whispering plans. Raxon's strategy was bold. Too bold, Luma thought. He would lead the main attack head-on, drawing the plasmoids away, while the rest slipped inside to restart the core. But as they prepared, Luma's suspicions grew heavier. That night, she followed Raxon in secret and caught him speaking to something in the shadows. A tall, shapeless figure made entirely of smooth black plastic, its voice like the crackle of burning trash. "The rebellion is working," Raxon said quietly. "They trust me completely. When they reach the core, they will power it up, and then you can take control." The shadow laughed, a dry, brittle sound. "Good. The core will not save them. It will transform the planet into pure plastic, and we will rule forever." Luma's heart pounded. Raxon, their leader, their savior, was a traitor. He wasn't fully animal at all. He was part of them, a plasmoid. The next day, the final battle began. Animals charged, claws and teeth flashing, wings beating against the haze. The plasmoids swarmed like living rivers of garbage, their sticky limbs wrapping around anything that moved. Raxon fought ferociously, striking down enemies left and right, earning the trust of his fighters even more. Luma, unable to bear the secret any longer, slipped inside the dome with the others, but took a different path. While the rest headed for the control room, she flew upward to the core's maintenance chamber. There, deep within the machine's heart, she found the truth. The core was indeed capable of cleaning the planet, but its systems were already corrupted, rewritten by the plasmoids to convert all matter into indestructible polymer. If activated now, it would erase the last traces of nature forever. She had no time to waste. Raxon himself entered the chamber moments later, his body already shifting, fur melting away to reveal smooth synthetic plates beneath. "Why, Luma?" he asked calmly, his voice now hollow and mechanical. "You could have been part of this new world. We would never decay, never die, but we'd never live." She spat back. A brutal fight erupted in the core's shadow, Luma darting and clawing while Raxon's plastic limbs lashed like whips. Below them, the rebellion was being pushed back, their cries echoing through the dome. Finally, Luma spotted a chance, a single rusted emergency lever labeled Purge. With a desperate cry, she pulled it. The core roared to life, light blazing from its depths, and instead of converting everything to plastic, the purge burned away the synthetic waste, reducing it to harmless dust. Outside, mountains of garbage collapsed into soil, rivers began to run clear, and green shoots broke through the ground for the first time in centuries. But the cost was heavy. The purge destroyed every plasmoid, including Raxon. He looked at Luma one last time, his expression unreadable, before his body cracked apart into brittle shards that clattered to the floor. The animals emerged into the sunlight, dazed and blinking as the air began to clear. They had done it. The plastic planet was no more, but Luma knew the fight wasn't over. Somewhere in the deep shadows of the world, fragments of plastic still remained, and if forgotten, they could rise again. She spread her wings and flew into the newborn sky, vowing to guard this fragile second chance. And so, the story of the plastic planet became legend, a warning and a promise to never let the world be buried again.